And here we go. This demonstrates I have no life. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to YouTube Live here on New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2021. And yes, I know some people have these big fancy parties where everybody gets drunk and who knows what else. Other people go out clubbing. And how do I celebrate the New Year? Me, I'm here in my kitchen, which, of course, I'll only say this very briefly. Given the circumstances that have been surrounding pretty much any social gatherings this year, I think it's probably much safer to spend the new year here on YouTube in my kitchen than actually going out. Only because, and again, I'll only say this once. They estimate that if you go to pretty much any crowded area today, if you're in any gathering with more than 20 to 30 people, then odds are at least one of those persons will have COVID. So all I can say there is be safe, everyone. If you're 90% of those people are going to be drunk. Yeah, and 90% of those people will be drunk as well. So if you're just watching this on the replay, well, nonetheless, Happy New Year, and I do hope things are fun for everybody. Actually, that's why I'm really here, to have some fun. And there actually are some people here showing up. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for everybody who is showing up here tonight, like Red Dog, and hello, William Hurt, and Pat Z, for Jim 44, and Granny Graham. Yeah, I can. Well, anyway, thank you once again for being here as we ring in the new year in probably the best way I can think of, and that is, of course, by enjoying ourselves doing some cooking magic here in the kitchen. And I was just thinking about the statistic you just came up with. Yes. And there's no immunization for drunk people. Yeah, no, that's true. There's no vaccine against being drunk, unfortunately. No, if there was, I know we'd all line up for that. No, I'm saying like we're being affected by drunk people. Yeah, or being affected by drunk people, yes. Okay, but nonetheless, though, yeah, this actually was kind of a spur of the moment that happened on Wednesday night anyway, in that it just came up with the idea. I thought, it might be fun to do a live tonight. And so some people seem to agree with it. And so here we are. And furthermore, the dish is not exactly something you would expect to see on New Year's Eve. But hey, any excuse to cook this dish is a good one as far as I'm concerned, because I fell in love with this the first time I tried making it. And from what I hear, my roommate here has never tried it before. And this would be coq au vin, which is one of Julia Child's signature dishes, and in fact, it was from her that I learned this recipe. So, and yeah, as I said, I fell in love with it. It is so delicious. I mean, even if you've eaten chicken your whole life, braising it in wine or Burgundy really gives it a brand new flavor to the chicken, one that you simply will not believe. And it's also not that difficult to cook either. There's some fuzzies on you. I've got fuzzies on me? Yeah, from the new brand new sweatshirt. Oh, for my sweatshirt. Okay, okay. Yeah, I don't want them falling in anything. Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, because they were okay. Brand new sweatshirt, and yeah. I was wearing a new sweatshirt today, and apparently it's kind of shedded on me. So that new inside sweatshirt. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, and hello. Oh, 1 second. Papa Dan, Jamie, and everyone. Listen. Wish you a happy New Year. I'm listening, but won't be commenting much. My daddy passed away last night at home. He was 91, and he wanted to be with his cast iron family. Well, my condolences to Papa Dan. I'm very sad, and again, very much sorry for your loss. And I know very well how that is. After all, I lost my mother just last year. So I lost my little brother last year. Yeah, Jamie lost her brother last year. So we all understand. And well, of course, we can only give you all our best wishes. Thank you. I mean, some stupid idiot drives by with the music on. I hope this brings you some solace. Yeah. Enjoy your time, and we understand for not commenting, and just knowing that you're here. We love that you're here. We look forward to you being here every week, and I hope that we're just glad you're here. And really, I mean, if you just play this in the background, just as some way to maybe try to help soothe you, I guess. And that's really all I can say. because we are here really to still have some fun. And quite frankly, having fun would not be a bad way for us to to be here for Papa Dan. So but yeah, as I mentioned, we are in fact making coq au vin. And to do that, of course, it means it's time to break out the cast iron. And so what we have here tonight, first of all, using Julie Child's method, no less, by the way. I'm starting out with what we're seeing here is I've got some baby onions braising. I mean, her recipe calls for using pearl onions. When I went out looking for them, I came up with some what they called boiling onions, and I honestly don't know if there's a difference between the two. They're just simply, baby onions either way. So what I did here was I actually sautéed them in butter. I melted some butter and sautéed these. I even left the skins on. All I did was simply cut off the tops and bottoms, and then covered it with a cast iron lid, as you saw. Added a little bit of chicken broth and braised it for maybe about 20 minutes or so. And these skins actually are coming off very nicely here. So these onions are nice and softened, and they're going to go very nicely indeed with this. Much easier. I gotta say, this is a much easier way to prepare these onions than the traditional way, which of course is to blanch them. You know, you got to boil them and then peel off the skin. So I'm very much in favor of this. As I said, look it up with Julia Child's recipe, and I also do have this recipe on my website as well, which I borrowed it from from Julia Child's book. And I just realized now I've got to grab a trivet so that I can get this off the heat, and we can bring out the star of the show here. So let's move this over slightly. Got to be careful here. It is hot, of course, that is. But nonetheless, now let me actually turn up the heat on the burner so that we can bring out the star of the show. One that I've already had it heating up on the other burners of the stove as well. And, I don't think it would be a bad idea to just put this on top. There we go, so that we can keep the heat. And now get my gloves and let's do this nice and careful. I forget if I brought this out on the live or not, but I have indeed used this pan in a couple of videos as well. So, say hello, everybody. Here it is. The Lodge Sportsman Deep Fryer. Why is this on? Oh, that's why. Excuse me one second. Oh, great. This thing is... The back burner is not sturdy on. Okay. Something always happens. There we go. Have I mentioned this is a crappy stove? Okay, let me put that back on right now. There we go. Much better. So here we go. Yeah, again, this is the Lodge Sportsman, and I can turn this off now. The Sportsman deep fryer, which Lodge produced in the anywhere between the 1980s and 1990s. This has a wonderful design on the lid, which is what they also used on their famous wildlife series. So this is one of those pans I'm very, very proud to have acquired and added to my collection here, and that's why I'm more than happy to be able to bring this out. And hello as well. Hello, William Hurd. I said that. Hello, Classic Car Traveler, and condolences, Papa Dan, as Clico says. Hello, Nee Oaths, and Captain Kirk as well. Well, thank you. Yes, I'm glad you got your got the email. Yeah, you've got yourself a really nice Wagner Griswold number 14 there. But this, on the other hand, as I mentioned, is the Lodge deep fryer. So, as is traditional with Julia Child, what we should start out with is bacon. One thing as well, I've got a lot of chicken here, and I took the skins off the chicken. The recipe does not call for that. It actually says to keep the skins on, but I'm thinking that this might actually help the chicken to cook a little faster. Or I'm debating whether I might try simply frying the skins separately. Still working on that. But right now, first thing, of course, we got to do, yes, even Julia Child starts out with bacon in many of her recipes. We render this bacon, so that we can get ourselves some fat for so that we can start preparing our chicken here. It's also a good way to get some fresh seasonings to this cast iron pan as well. And yeah, as I mentioned, this is the Lodge Sportsman Deep Fryer, which originally the design of this, in fact, came from Birmingham Stove and Range. This was for decades part of the BSR Sportsman Grill. This was a deep fryer, and there was also a shallow fryer, as many folks know, that came with it. Of course, BSR unfortunately went out of business in the early 1980s, sadly. And they had for a while, in fact, as they were trying to save their business, they entered into a deal with Lodge to help distribute some of their cast iron. When this hobby really exploded in popularity, it was assumed that Lodge actually was producing cast iron for BSR, and in fact, that was not the case. BSR had indeed produced a lot of cast iron, and then due to bad business deals, quite literally, their own factory shut down. They had moved all their equipment out of their foundry, and they really had no way to produce more cast iron. But Lodge did not make cast iron for BSR. They did distribute it. It wasn't enough to save the company, of course, and so Birmingham Stove and Range, or A&B Foundry, went out of business. And as part of their debt, to settle their debt with Lodge, they passed on the designs of several of their pans to Lodge, the most famous of which would be the Sportsman Grill, which Lodge continues to make up to this very day. Well, correction, did they discontinue it when they produced their Cook It All Grill? I'm suspecting if they did, it would only be temporary, because that Sportsman Grill has been a continual good seller for Lodge. So I'm not too worried that we will be seeing more of those in the future. However, nonetheless, for about 10 to 20 years or so, they also produced this big deep fryer here, along with a Sportsman Grill. Until this was finally discontinued. I believe it was right around 2002 or so. So anybody who has one of these, yeah, you've got yourself a collector's item. For the record, this oval roaster here, as they also call it, is a very popular design, and it has been imitated by several Asian manufacturers as well. Cajun Classic, Bayou Classic, and I think Cajun Cookers as well. They have all produced their own versions of this oval fryer. In fact, even Cabela's, Camp Chef makes Cabela's house brand of cast iron. Are they still doing that? I mean, since Cabela's was bought out by, who was it? The other big one. Oh, yeah, that's right. Bass Pro Shops. Are they still producing their own cast iron for them? Well, either way, the house brand of Cabela's cast iron also includes what they call an oval roaster, which is almost exactly the same size and shape as this Lodge pan. The big difference with the oval roaster, besides the lid, which has the Cabela's logo on it, is that the pot itself here, the Cabela's one, has absolutely no markings at all on the bottom or otherwise. All of the ones produced by Lodge, and most of them by BSR as well, all have all have an identifying mark on the bottom. Usually, it would be the 3060 3060 deep fryer logo on the bottom, so that you would recognize that it's either BSR or Lodge. If you find one of these pots and there's absolutely no marking on the bottom, it may very well be an Asian-made, but still good quality, cast iron pan made for Cabela's. So just a little bit of information there for anybody who is on the hunt for cast iron. I better make sure, even though I've got this heat turned up, I may turn it up a little more because I want to get this bacon done as quickly as I can. Anyway, there's a little piece of history there for you, and that's one of the things I love about this hobby, is that you learn pieces of history like that. It's stuff like that that makes it really interesting to come across an old pot or an old pan at a flea market or an antique mall or the like. And we're getting, this bacon is rendering very nicely. This is just some typical thick cut bacon. This one I think comes from Price Chopper. Julia's recipe, of course, doesn't just call for bacon. She calls for slab bacon, sliced into lardons. And, of course, if you want to go the distance and do that, there's no reason not to. Of course, on the other hand, most people will simply just do what I did here and get some bacon and slice it up, because why not? I'd say probably maybe a couple more minutes of this, and this should be done quite nicely. While I'm waiting here, oh, well, thank you very much. Okay, and hello. Is that a ribbed or a smooth lid on the inside? That is. Those are beautiful pliers. The lid, as a matter of fact, has a grilled bottom. It's ribbed, so that if I had this heat on, but the heat is actually turned off, if I were to just simply leave this and heat it up, I'd be able to do some grilling here with this lid, and that's exactly what it's designed for. So. Sam Cook. I have that same piece, except the lid on mine is smooth. Hard to come up with things to cook with it. Well, there is that, but on the other hand, of course, just the fact that it's a lid is very useful, and in fact, we're going to be using this lid here. One thing about this recipe, because again, this is how Julia did it, is that we're going to be making this entirely on the stovetop. A lot of recipes for coq au vin say once it's done here, you put it in the oven and bake it. But here, we're going to do this entirely on the stovetop, in that once everything is all mixed together and the braising liquid, a lot of wine, is all mixed in, we're just going to cover this and simmer it right here on the stovetop. And I'm looking forward to doing this. I have made, as I said already, I have made this dish several times, even made it for my mom, and oh man, did that ever turn out good. So I'm really looking forward to how this is going to turn out. This looks like we are almost done with this step here. And I heard chicken and wine. Yes, it is. And I do believe Julia, she really did say this quote. I love cooking with wine. Sometimes I even put it in the food. Yes, Julia. Yeah, she loved her wine, and no, she never really had an alcohol problem, at least as far as I know. Then there's nothing wrong with loving her wine. So, and in fact, she taught me a few things about cooking with wine, not the least of which is that, as she also said, make sure you cook with a wine that you would be willing to drink yourself. And for that reason, I have made a point from the beginning of avoiding those so-called cooking wines that they sell at the supermarket, because those things have loads of salt in them and other stuff, which is one reason why they sell them on the stores at the supermarket. I mean, you never hear about anybody, even even alcoholics, stealing cooking wine from the store to drink. It's because that stuff is but why do that when you can just as easily use some real wine? Especially since you can use the cheap stuff. If you've got a decent liquor store, and what town doesn't have a decent liquor store somewhere, you can go to their discount rack and get yourself a bottle of Pinot Noir, which may sell for, well, depending on how it is, you might be able to get it for as little as, oh, I don't know, $6, $7, $8, $9, or maybe even less. And I do believe this bacon is just about done at this point. It's definitely reaching the crumbly stage. So, I never did throw in this chicken skin. Well, I'll come back to that after the wine is braised. However, that means I've got to get another dish. I think I'll do it this way. I'll just throw the chicken skin in here and then put the cooked bacon in here. And for those who are, oh, I missed a piece. For those who are worried about cross-contamination, considering this is very, very hot meat that has been, again, cooked at a good couple of 100 degrees at least. So it is going to kill any bacteria that get on it. And furthermore, we're going to be returning it to the cooking pot and doing some more and cooking it some more. That's why I feel, as an amateur, there is absolutely no risk of cross-contamination by putting this back in the same bowl. So I'm not worried at all about that. What we need to do, of course, is leave this fat in the pan, which is the whole point. Well, one of the points. The other, of course, is adding flavor to it, because that now we get to bring out the chicken. And we better do this quickly because this is smoking very nicely here. It's the other thing is that we're supposed to pat the chicken dry, and the reason why we do that is going to come in a couple of minutes. So let's get this chicken in there. And this is one reason why I like using a big cast iron pot. We've got plenty of room in here. There's something like, oh, I don't know, maybe 3, maybe even 4 pounds of chicken here. And plenty of room for it. So there's, I spread it out just a little bit. So there's no difficulty at all here. What we're doing, of course, is browning the chicken, and then once we do that, we're going to get down to the next step. The next step, in fact, is going to be, we're going to have a little bit of fireworks, shall we say, for the new year. I hope it doesn't set off my smoke alarm, in fact. Which Peg will show up, William Hurt. Andrew Bonificio, good evening from Michigan. And see you left. You can get a bottle of wine for $2.99 at Aldi. Yes, you can. And while, again, the recipe calls for Burgundy or Pinot Noir, I would think that using any cheap red wine would work just fine with this dish. So it's really not that expensive. And I guess that's the other thing about this particular dish. As they say, they call it a peasant dish, meaning it was made by the by the commoners and not by the nobility. And you could tell because when it's finished, it really doesn't look very appealing, does it? It's got this ugly brown look to it. However, believe you me, there is flavor to spare in this dish, and it is definitely worth it for that reason. Apparently, this is meant especially to use as well on not just, especially with the old roosters. They commonly, when the old roosters got to past their age and they were slaughtered, they would then cook the roosters up in this manner because, of course, they were old and tough, and braising it in wine would definitely help tenderize the meat. All right, I think we're about ready here to turn this over. Come on, let's do this right, shall we? And here, I guess I better say something because I'm sure if anybody has followed my recipe for coq au vin, several years ago, in fact, I made this into a YouTube video, and it's still out there on YouTube. And it's actually one of my more popular videos, and thank you very much to everybody for that. However, I do recognize that I made 2 mistakes in this. Not with the cooking, but with basically with my presentation. One is I continuously, unfortunately, mispronounced the name of the dish, and I kept calling it coq au vin, V-I-N, vin, and that's only because that was the way I had been taught to speak French in the 4 years of French class that I took in high school. I did take 4 years of French in high school, and I got about a D average. I hated that class, but it was a requirement. So unfortunately, I did very, very poorly at it. About the only sentence I can remember from my French class would be, "Ne parlez-vous," say that again, "Ne parlez-vous parler français, je te déteste." And if anybody knows French, I think you know what that means. Not a swear word, but all right. Now that we have gotten this far, here's where we get to have some fun, folks. I think I better close the door so that the smoke alarm doesn't go off. Anybody who knows how Julia prepared this, you know what's coming next. And where did I put that thing? There it is. This is where we get out some brandy, because here comes the flambé. Actually, let's move this over here a little bit, shall we? There we go. This is where we throw in about a quarter cup of wine. Let it burn off a little bit. And woo-hoo. Glad I didn't damage my mic with that. Wow, this thing's going nicely. So here we go. We've got some fireworks for St. Patrick, for New Year's. In about a minute or so, the alcohol will burn off. And the reason why we're supposed to do this flambé is it actually, toughens up the meat a little bit, so that it can then tenderize as it braises. On the other hand, a lot of people skip this step for obvious reasons. Because, and I have to say, I don't blame them either. The first time I actually did a flambé, I was terrified. I mean, I made sure, I was doing a bananas Foster thing, and I made sure that I had people with me with a fire extinguisher. Oh, I do have a fire extinguisher here. No, don't think I don't. But it's like they had the fire extinguisher right in hand, ready to use it immediately if and when I set the place on fire. But as you can see, this worked just fine because, I made sure that there's a lot of space around here. All right. John Agan, gotta go. Well, have a good New Year. I mean, as I said, I am not forcing anybody to stay because this is a night for people to celebrate and have fun. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So leave it alone for a minute. It will brown. All right. Well, now that I've done that, okay, we are doing nicely now. Let me check and make sure I'm not missing any steps here. Really brown, chicken, okay. Now it's here we add some salt, pepper, bay leaf, and thyme, and the onions. Cool. Okay, good. All right. So now we get to season it up a little bit. Let's throw in some kosher salt. A little bit more. There we go. Throw in some pepper. A little bit of thyme. Yeah, I know. You're supposed to use fresh thyme. Don't have to use too much of it. And assuming this recipe is right, now is when we throw in the onions. Specifically, reading this off my website here. Season chicken with kosher salt and pepper, and add bay leaf. Oh yeah, a couple of bay leaves. Okay. There we go, a couple of bay leaves. There we go. And the thyme. Of course, since I put this recipe together myself based on Julia, at least I know what I'm doing here. At least I hope so. Place onions around the chicken, cover pan once again, and cook slowly for 5 minutes. Okay, we'll do. Here's where, oh good, this is so hot. Okay, shows you what I know. There we go. Yeah. Move the large lid over. Here come the onions. Yeah, these onions soften nicely too. I really have to give kudos to Julia for this onion method. As I said, instead of boiling the onions, we braised them. You know, we sauteed them in a little bit of butter, and then just covered and a little bit of thyme, and then covered the lid and let them soften in about 20 minutes or so. So now again, here's where, oh, I shouldn't have put that lid there because we've got to cover the chicken now. Let me put this back. Hope this is, I think it's cool enough. Good. I'm not burning my hands. Okay, there we go. Now it goes back on. And now we let it cool. No, not cool. We let it basically just simmer for a few minutes. After this point, after a few minutes, we uncover it, turn over the chicken, and cook another 5 minutes. Okay, at which point then we move on to the next step. Well, that's good. So that means now I get to here the Big John. I'm a thigh man as well. Yeah, that's another thing I really love about this dish is that it's made especially for use with dark meat. Yes, you can make it with chicken breasts, and because I know a lot of people prefer white meat, but it was this again another sign that this was a meant as a commoner's dish because again it uses dark meat, so that way none of the chicken is wasted. I love dark meat anyway. I think it has more flavor, and it's impossible to overcook dark meat. If you overcook it, all it does is fall apart or burn, of course. Sam Cook, you are correct, says Pawpaw Dan. Whatever you cook in one of those fryers will feed a lot of people. And I've made fish croutons. When did I make croutons? Oh yeah, I think I did a couple times. And now chicken in that roaster. Yeah, oh yeah, it is definitely purposeful. I'm not. I mean, again, as I've said enough times, I am not getting my. I do not. I'm trying my best not to just have display pieces in my collection. I really want to get as much use as possible out of these things. And yeah, believe me, as you can see, this is a wonderful roasting pan. I estimated the size of this thing to about this deep fryer here to be about 10 quarts in capacity. So this is a pretty big pot here, and yeah, this is the type of thing you really can feed your whole family with. I mean, if you can easily, and I have, fill this whole thing with jambalaya or pastalaya or gumbo. So, how many pounds do you think that roaster weighs? See farther. I would have to say anywhere from 10 to 15 pounds with the lid. So yeah, it is not that not light. What years did you say the Lodge Mallard fish fryer was produced? Phone rang while you were discussing. I was told 2010. No, I don't think it was that late. I remember seeing the number 2002 as the year when this was actually discontinued. And yeah, this is one of those things that I wish Lodge would bring back in its Legacy series. But you never know. There's always next year. I'm hoping their Legacy series has not been permanently discontinued. Although, on the other hand, who knows? I mean, if their breakfast skillet did not sell very well, who can say? But nonetheless, hello, Terry Sinchef. I love thighs. Yes, indeed. Sound is kind of muffled. Is the sound kind of muffled, or was I too far away from the mic? I'm hoping folks can clarify that. Could somebody just answer yes or no? Does my voice sound okay? If it does not, I will unplug the mic and plug it back in. I'll bet it smells like heaven at this point. Oh yeah, and we haven't even gotten to the good part yet. So, have you tried making a casserole or lasagna in the bottom? The bottom should work good for that, in my opinion. Oh, definitely. If folks who are afraid of using tomato dishes in cast iron like this, I came up with a little trick, a way of getting around that when I made ratatouille, which does require a lot of tomato sauce. And my trick was line the bottom of the pan with tortilla shells and then lay everything on top of that. If you don't think tortilla shells would go with it, give the pan, before you even heat it up, give the pan a nice thick coating of shortening or grease so that that will help, well, protect the seasoning or add to the seasoning. Sounds good to me, says it. And Andrew Bonificio says no sound. Hard to understand, right? Muffled. Muffled? Okay, then I better do something about that. Sounds distant. Let me check that right now. I'm very sorry, but thank you for telling me. Do this. Um, okay. Oh, so there is sound. I just unplugged the microphone and plugged it back in. And let me check my sound settings as well here. Pawpaw Dan, good sound here, no problem here. I can't believe it. Oh yeah, yeah. You usually do have problems too, don't you, Pawpaw Dan? So well, at least here's a good sign. Who's ready to kick the prequel of 2020 out the door? Well, it's more like the sequel. And I know every year it seems like we always say this year was worse than the last one. I can only say, and I am not going to get into any kind of a deep personal whining or politics. I've had enough of politics. Uh, for me personally, 2021 was not as bad as 2020. Other folks may say otherwise. I mean, again, my condolences to Papa Dan. But for me, anyway, this has not been too bad of a year, especially since only within the last couple of days, I don't want the steam to escape too much. Within the last couple of days, especially thanks to Jamie, looks like we've got a lead here on a new apartment, a much better and a much bigger apartment. What? I'm just mentioning that we've got a lead on this new apartment. So yeah, no politics, please. No, I am not going to get into politics. I mean, that's. I think I made that resolution last year, in fact, and I hope I've done my best to keep it. That have no intention of getting into political arguments. What? Oh yeah, yeah. Jamie did a wonderful job as well. 1 second, let me show you one of these. Um, Just last night, Jamie did some baking in that Turk's Head pan, and she made some wonderful shortbread cookies, which, as you can see, yeah, cookie cups, which, as you can see, have chocolate in the center. So she was very happy about that. Okay, yeah, if there's time, we'll make that up. But yes, Louisiana had another hurricane this year, yes, and my condolences for that as well. I guess we had two hurricanes last year. Well, yeah, and at least it did not turn to be quite as bad as the famous Hurricane Katrina. So that's the best I could say there. However, as I said, one of my resolutions last year was not to get into political arguments, and I've done my best to mostly keep that promise. I will go off on a tangent only very briefly in that I have been very much in favor of the vaccine. I've got my shots. In fact, I am scheduled for my booster shot finally this coming Tuesday, January 4th. I was going to have it last Thursday and I was scheduled for it, but unfortunately, work was so crazy that I had to work late and I missed it, so I had to reschedule it. And as far as I'm concerned, and this is all I will say, the vaccine is not politics. The only reason why it's politics is because a lot of idiots are making it into politics. And that's it. Okay, but other than that, though, as I said, for me personally, it hasn't been too bad of a year. Although I know I cannot say the same for everyone. I mean, for a lot of people, especially because, well, as you know, We are still in, if not in lockdown, we still get a pandemic rate. But that's also really something that we can't really discuss here, largely because there's no point. I mean, whining about that here is really, they're whining about it in thousands of other places on the internet as well. So here, I'm just doing my best to try to relax and have fun tonight and get away from it. See farther. I would think braising at this point. I'd surely be tender, but that wine will keep it from falling apart. Speaking of which, I think it's time to flip the chicken. I'm sure this is cooking pretty fast. So, steam. Steam was one of the secret words of the giveaways. Here. All right, now, no giveaway tonight, folks. Also, somebody's going to be lucky and have some chicken here in my household. Oh, yeah, this is looking nice already. Boy. And now we do this. And once all of these are flipped, we will just let it simmer for just another few minutes. Oh, better. Wow, these onions are already starting to, definitely I better be careful. In fact, maybe I should even turn this down just a bit at this point. Because I don't want, I really don't want the onions to completely burn here. Move this around a little bit, shall we? There we go. At this point, we've covered for just another few minutes, and then we can move on to the next step. So this really isn't that hard. As you can see, if we go by it step by step, it's really not that hard. Caramelization is fabulous. Yeah, I'm liking how this is turning out already. So, oh yeah, is that a cast iron Dutch oven? This most definitely is. Joshua Andrew vibes. This, in fact, is I guess you could call it a vintage cast iron pan because this thing in here now is at least 25 years old, I think. Or at the minimum, it's almost 20 years old. This is the Lodge Sportsman, the Lodge Sportsman fish fryer. They produced this from through the 1980s and 1990s, and they discontinued it in around the year 2002. So yeah, it's definitely cast iron. It's from Lodge, as we mentioned, and boy, do I enjoy using this thing here. Is that chicken fat seasoning the roaster? Oh, definitely. That's one of the nice things about making dishes like that. Anytime you cook with a lot of fat, yes, you can definitely say you're adding to the seasoning, and that's good. That helps to again, that helps me to rotate through my collection and try to keep everything here as fresh as possible. Shouldn't the chicken be turned? I just did. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to these onions too. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, before, I mentioned before, I mispronounced this dish when I made this video because I did poorly in French class and I kept calling it coq au vin. Several years later, I am still getting comments on that video telling me what a doofus I am because I pronounced it wrong. And so, on the other hand, the other thing, what was I saying? There was something else about this. Now I'm can't believe I'm drawing a blank here. Well, nonetheless, that was the big thing. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. How could I forget my Julia Child story? In that I have to, I can't say I'm bragging, but it's one of my proud moments in that I met Julia Child in person several times, very briefly, in the 1990s. You see, in the 1990s, for about 3 or 4 years, I worked as a movie theater usher. I worked at the Harvard Square Theater in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And we had a number of guests who would regularly go to the movies at that theater. And one couple who showed up fairly often to go to the movies was, in fact, Julia Child and her husband. So they came to our theater, and I had the chance to say hello to them as they came in to watch their movies. They were big fans of Woody Allen. They saw all of Woody Allen's movies when they premiered. So And they were, and a couple of things I will say about Julia and her husband. I mean, granted, they were getting them really on in years. They were easily in their 80s at this point. But both of them, number one, they were very polite and very soft-spoken people. You know, I mean, very friendly and just, as I said, very, very modest. The other thing I have to say is they were big people. And I don't mean fat. I mean they were big. They were both of them were over 6 feet tall. Were big people, and they were broad-shouldered too. And granted, they were in their 80s, so yeah, their frames had shrunk a little bit. But yeah, I know when Julia was in her prime, she was a big woman. And again, no, I do not mean fat. So, so yeah, I was very pleased. I'm pleased to say that I had the chance to say hi to Julia Child and her husband as they came in. This was long before I got into cooking, unfortunately. I never asked them anything at all about cooking. It was all movies for me back then. And so I just very politely, just asked them things. How did you like the movies? So, yeah. But nonetheless, it was really nice to have met them in person. Fact is, politics ruins everything. That's all too true. um, do a one toker and get your thoughts together. Well, yeah, hey, it is New Year's Eve. Now's the time for it. Using your method for cast iron cooking, let me scroll up a little bit. Who is saying what there? Right above that. That's Josh Riston. Using your method for cast iron fluted cake pans. So far, I'm 3 for 3 with no cooking. Well, congratulations. I'm very glad to hear that. I made an apple cider cake for New Year's. Came out perfectly, no sticking at all. Oh man, thank you, and thank you very much. I am really honored when folks actually try my recipes. They are interested enough to try them, and especially when they work. But yeah, that fluted cake pan thing, that was okay. I will take some credit for it. I'm very proud of how that turned out, and that happened because yeah, when I started cooking in a cast iron bundt pan, or rather a fluted cake pan, I was having a lot of trouble with sticking cakes as well. I would grease and flour the heck out of that pan, and the cake still stuck maybe about 1 out of every 3 times, and I was not satisfied with that at all. Okay, two things. Papa Dan, are the BSR and Lodge deep fish fryers the same size, or did Lodge change it slightly when they received the pattern from BSR? I think it is the same size. I do not have a BSR deep fryer. What I do know is that this lid does not fit exactly right on my shallow BSR Sportsman fryer, but I think that may be because BSR changed the design of this. However, I think we're at the next stage here. So I do believe we are ready to go on and get ready to, well, do some braising. Which reminds me, I actually forgot something. Again. Specifically, where is that can opener? There it is. What I forgot is that the recipe actually called for some tomato paste, and I simply forgot to open the can. So let's do that right now. And hey, I'm using that trick, the one on my second most popular video, the one of opening a can this way. How about that, folks? There we go. And look at that. So you can see it gave a little bit of here's the problem, though, with using this method. As you can see, some of it's stuck. But nonetheless, there we go. We've got some tomato paste there. Okay, now time to call up the recipe because I do not have it memorized, unfortunately. All right, now from here, uncover the pan, sprinkle on flour, butter, turn the chicken and onions so the flour is absorbed. I think we don't need to braise it again. So at that point then comes the wine. All right, so here we go. Let us do that. Uncover this. Yeah, I don't think we need to let this thing simmer even more. I'd say this is finishing up very nicely, in fact. I really hope this thing doesn't burn. I gotta be careful there. No, actually, we got this is turning out quite nicely. Oh yeah, I'm liking this already. Move these around a little bit. Now from here, all right, what did that recipe say again? Season gradually to uncover, sprinkle on flour and butter, turning the chicken. Oh yeah, here's where we throw in some butter, because you really can't have a Julia Child recipe, without putting in some butter, can you? I'll just throw in a little bit of that. And here, the other thing we're supposed to do is sprinkle some flour over it. Don't worry. I don't think this is too much, and you will see why in just a moment. Specifically, we gotta make sure I get this right again. Uncan, sprinkle on flour and butter. Turn the chicken and onions so the flour is absorbed. Got it. So in other words, yeah, we actually covered this. We turn it again. Come on. Yeah. And then from here, at last, and you know what? I forgot something else. Ugh, always forget something. My corkscrew. So let me quickly dig that out. Please tell me I've got that thing here. If not, I'm gonna have to improvise. Aha, here it is. Yeah. Here we go. I have to be honest, I do not drink very often. It's never been in my blood, so to speak. But this will be. We've got some Pinot Noir here. So let's undo this as quickly as we can. Ugh. Damn it. What am I doing wrong now? No, I should have. Should have uncorked this even before I started the video. Always forget something. There it goes. Hey, that wasn't so bad. Oh, sounds like somebody else. Oh, yeah. Probably. I hope those are fireworks. Yeah, they're fireworks. No question about it. Those are fireworks. All right. I know there are other ways to do this other than with a corkscrew. I am no expert at this, and so this is the way I'm going to be doing this. I really don't want to push this thing down into the wine. That would not be good. Come on, you little you-know-what. Yeah. There we go. Up. And now, at last, let's get the focus back on this again. Here comes the wine, folks. You're supposed to add enough wine so that the chicken is almost covered, maybe 3/4 of the way. And while the recipe measures it out, usually I end up adding the whole bottle, as you can see. And furthermore, with a big pot like this, I can even top it off with some chicken broth. That should be enough liquid. All right. There we go. That should bring things under control here. Gradually stir and swirl in the wine so that the chicken is nearly covered. Turn down to medium-low, enough to bring this to a simmer. Yeah, we don't want to burn it now. So I'm turning the dials down right now. There we go. To a simmer. If there is not enough wine, add chicken broth. Add in the rest of the stuff. Okay, that means we add in the bacon. And yeah, I did forget something. I forgot to mince some garlic. All right, better grab some. Where did it go? Please tell me there it is. Yeah. Because it would not be me if I didn't forget something. But yeah, those are definitely fireworks out there. Just throw some of this in, some minced garlic. And finally, the tomato paste. Do this right, shall we? All right, almost ready. Ha ha. Har har, hardy har har. There we go. And that takes care of that. Now we will mix all of this around one last time, and we are ready to do some braising. So yeah, like I said, I mean, yeah, I'll be the first to agree that it does not look very appetizing, but what it lacks in looks, it will more than make up with in flavor. There we go. Grab this one last time. And we're just about an hour into this. This should be done, really, just about in time. So, one last time. We put this lid on. Yeah, this is definitely cast iron, all right. No question about that. And let me check that recipe one more time to be absolutely sure. Gradually stir in the wine. Okay, if there's not enough, add the cooked pork, garlic, and tomato paste. Okay, at this point, uncover. No. Gradually stir, cover and simmer slowly for 30 minutes. At this point, uncover the pan and let it simmer another 15 to 20 minutes. And there we go. All right. Folks are having fun shooting things off outside, too. As if we haven't had enough shootings in this neighborhood. Okay. Peg tooth. I opened both ends of the tomato paste can, too. Tomato paste can, yeah. Makes it so easy. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'll have to remember that. Mr. Gregory, I'm making a roast beef stew tonight loaded with vegetables and potatoes. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, yeah, you're definitely going to enjoy your new year, too. Throw some rice in there, Andrew Bonificio. Yeah, actually, that's the next step we're going to do, is we're going to actually prepare some egg noodles to serve with this. Onions cooked in wine is so good, says Terry Sinchef. And that sauce is going to be fantastic. Yeah, I am really looking forward to this. So even though this is not exactly, oh yeah, let's do this show. Peg tooth. Julia Child would be enjoying wine to lubricate the cook. I think you need to do a Julia Child's impersonation when you read her recipe. Well, granted, everybody does that. All right. What time do we eat, Andrew Bonificio? Making a big ham tomorrow with mashed taters and broccoli. Oh, yeah. And don't forget the other traditional dish that a lot of people make on New Year's Day, and that would be Hoppin' John. You know, that would be the hog jowls and the ham hocks and the black-eyed peas, the collard greens, and the cornbread. Can't forget that. There's a lot of tradition behind that. But anyway, at this point, we are here. We are ready to, well, as I said, we just let this thing simmer nice and easily. And even though, again, this is not exactly a traditional New Year's Eve dish, maybe it should be. Because, yeah, I am looking forward to this, and I know this is just going to be so darn good. However, at this point, it's time to move on to the next step. By the way, it's braising now. It's simmering. Okay. Which means it's time to move on to the next step. And that would be to bring out something that's not cast iron. Time once again for the Wagner aluminum Magnolite Dutch oven, because we're going to be boiling ourselves up some egg noodles to go with this. So let me fill this right now. I've said this before and I'll say this again. This is about the best darn water boiler I have ever had. I mean, really, so far nothing I've done can compare to this thing here as a water boiler. So yeah, I am quite happy with that. We'll just finish filling this pot up right now. There we go. It's hot. Turn off the water. And now at this point, I can even turn off the fan on the stove too. Let us quickly salt the water. And okay. All right. Also, it would also help if I turned on the heat on the burner. Let's throw some salt in here. Just eyeball it. There we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is another suggestion of Julia's, and it comes from her boeuf bourguignon recipe. And that is to serve this over egg noodles, which is what we're going to be doing here tonight. I like your rice suggestion, but as I said, I already prepared this so that we can be, I guess, traditional. The model number was 3060. Yes, it was. 3060 was the deep fryer. 3052 was the shallow fryer. It's okay, bud. My wife makes homemade rolls. Andrew Beneficio, my last comment was for you. Phone keeps ringing. Terry Sinjev, my grandma had a large, heavy aluminum pot she uses for pasta. Oh, yeah. Again, there's really, I mean, as I said, this is the best pasta maker and water boiler that I have had. And even though I have to say this every single time, and I'm glad no one has brought this up yet, so I will only say this once. It is safe to cook with aluminum cookware. I will say that again. It is safe to cook with aluminum cookware. Aluminum cookware does not cause Alzheimer's or cancer or 5G radiation. It does not do any of that stuff. And we've gone over that subject before, and there's really no need to go into it again. So, Mr. Gregory, anyone use Vegeta or Kuharik? I can't pronounce that. Instead of salt for soups and stews, it's a European vegetable salt. My mom used it all the time. Well, I have heard of a salt substitute. You may know about this one. It's sold in the stores, and they call it crazy mixed up salt. Would that have the same ingredients that you were talking about, Mr. Gregory? Because I honestly do not know. Aluminum does not leach out. It is very safe. Well, the amounts of aluminum that do leach out are microscopic. And those microscopic amounts, yes, they are safe. It's the whole point is the idea is that the dose makes the poison. It's kind of like the same way that if you actually drink too much water, you will actually get poisoned by it. But of course, we're talking like maybe drinking a couple of gallons of water or more at a single sitting. So it is on a very smaller scale with aluminum, which of course is a natural element and it is found in just about everything. The microscopic amounts of aluminum are safe. Not to be rude. Oh no, this is for Dano Ozark. I had the same fish fryer from Lodge. Well, I'm hoping you got a better deal on this fish fryer than I did. Although I feel I got a good deal on this, and here's why. Yet another case. I don't know if I keep saying this, but I've had some luck on eBay. But then again, consider I've been doing this now for 11 years. So every once in a while, like maybe every couple of years or so, I've got myself a nice score on eBay, and this was one of them. Because when this was on eBay, the guy selling it was trying to pass it off as a Griswold. So naturally, he gave it a sky-high price. And I informed him and provided references proving that no, dude, that is not a Griswold. And because of that, he agreed to let me purchase it from him at a significantly reduced price. And that's how I ended up with this large fish fryer, which I have no intention of getting rid of because it's too darn useful. Peg 2, sometimes I'm impatient and I'll start my hot water in a kettle with a little water in my boiling pot turned on the oven. I don't know if it saves time. Yeah, I am not enough of a scientist or physicist to know. There's this long-standing argument that if you start with cold water, supposedly it will boil faster. I don't understand it. And yet Jamie says it's true. So I can't explain it. And yeah, see farther. I just saw one for $1,000. They called it vintage because it was discontinued in 2002. Well, they can put any price they want on it, but that doesn't mean we're going to buy it. No, I would not pay $1,000 for this. Especially since if you really absolutely need a cast iron oval fish fryer, you can still get the Cabela's one. They sell it for what, maybe $70 or $80. Which is a hefty price in itself, but then again, you figure you get what you pay for. So. Yes, I understand. Okay, I understand. You just relax. Nobody has. Yeah, nobody has. Okay, yeah. No, nobody has to do anything. Take your. Yeah, I'm saying, take your time. All right. Jenny Ingram. I love Jane's crazy mixed up salt. It's the best. Yes, and if you want to use it, believe me, go ahead and use it. It's your taste. It's your palate. If you want to use crazy mixed up salt in this dish rather than salt, please do so. I'm sure it'll taste great, quite frankly. Salish Dreams with the Humanox. Great show. Well, thank you very much. And Happy New Year from Victoria, British Columbia. Oh, yeah. Have you had your Happy New Year? I mean, after all, we have less than an hour to go here on Eastern Standard Time. So I know folks in New York, it's only like about 8 p.m. right now. Not New York, California. It's about 8 p.m. right now. But hey, the new year is coming. And if anybody here is viewing past this time zone, well, as you just said, Happy New Year. Terry Sinchef, before using water out of your water heater, contact your state board of health. It may contain heavy metals. Well, that's how it goes, unfortunately. And yeah, it's also if you want to use a water filter jug, that's also something you may want to consider. So, aluminum immediately oxidizes and protects itself with a mirror scratch. That's why welding aluminum requires a shielding gas to act as a flux. Flux or oxygen. Aluminum is very safe, yes, because even though we're using this on a hot stove, it is nowhere near anywhere close to the temperature where aluminum is going to melt or anything like that. So that's why it's safe like that. Have you made roast beef in that roaster? Not in this roaster yet. I mean, I've got so many cast iron pots that I'm trying to rotate. I haven't yet had the chance to make a roast beef in this. Tomorrow, for instance, yes. Tomorrow I'm pulling out a different one of my pans so that I can do a pork roast, and I'm looking forward to that too. So, if you purchased Ozark, if you purchased yours within the last 2 years, then you got a bargain. What do you think the temperature is inside the roaster, inside your roaster at this point? Well, how about we find out? Because we have ourselves a little infrared thermometer here. Now, if I point it down here.
Get the stuff ready. You can just pull the mixer out, and I'm just gonna do this hazelnut, the Nutella whipped cream.
All right. Let me see if I point this here. Right here, just on the outside, it says 244 degrees. And if it says that on the outside, well, at least we could say on the inside, it's certainly at the boiling point because it is simmering. I mean, there's certainly no question about that. So there's your answer, I guess. What's the temperature on the inside? Probably about 212 degrees. I do believe this water may be starting to boil. I just heard a hiss. And meanwhile, Jamie is asking to take out the, well, this is not quite boiling yet. Jamie is asking me to take out the mixer because she wants to present some cookies. I believe she's going to be doing some more baking in the Turk's Head pan. So let's bring out the mixer right over here. Let me move this over a little bit. But don't worry, this is not going to take long either way. So I just have a couple of things to clear off here, and we will have the mixer ready as she requests. Move this over. I definitely should have done this beforehand, so I apologize for the delay here. And let's plug this thing in, shall we? And then we can get back to some comments. Oh yeah. Seems like this thing's got its own alarm. Because now I know it's boiling. Let me carefully. I have to cover something, isn't it? Yes, I know. Impatient. What's the term about a boiling kettle? Well, that's exactly what you're hearing. There we go. Throw in these noodles. I don't think it'll kill us if we use the same thing to stir it. And then from here, there we go. Let's put this back on, and I've got just one last thing to do, and that's to put the paddle on the mixer for Jamie, as she asked. Other than that, though, give me just a second, please, and then I'll be able to read a couple more comments here. Okay, here comes the mixer paddle. All right, yeah, Jamie very much wanted to do some more baking here on the live, and so that's why I got this ready for her. Until she comes in, though, here once again is the roaster. Okay, now, meanwhile, Jenny Ingram, see farther, so welcome. I like to use it very lightly for fried eggs. A boiled pot never watches. Yeah, that's one way to put it. Terry Sinchef, it can go above boiling if the lid is heavy enough and has a tight seal. I'm not sure if this has a tight enough seal. This thing is actually steaming quite nicely here. So If you were stranded on an island and could only eat one dish, what would it be? Huh. Well, considering that if you were stranded on an island, your selection would be pretty limited. Anyone remember that Bugs Bunny cartoon where Yosemite Sam was stuck on an island for 20 years and all he could eat were coconuts? Tossed coconut salad, fresh coconut milk, New England boiled coconut. See farther. I can see why coq au vin is always served with egg noodles. That broth is more like a sauce. Oh yeah, that broth may very well be the best part of it, maybe even better than the chicken. And that's one reason why I am very much looking forward to this. Definitely. In fact, let me move a couple of these things over because they are all set right now. And yeah, this thing here, I think I had better stir this. You can see all that steam coming out of the aluminum pot. Although these are egg noodles, but they are still, there's still a chance of a boil over. I don't think they have quite as much starch. Boy, did my glasses steam up just now. All right, let's do this. And I'll come back to that in a minute or so. But yes, Boeuf Bourguignon was, of course, Julia Child's, not just her signature dish, that was also what she made in the very first premiere pilot episode of her French chef show. So that has definitely been her signature dish. And in fact, coq au vin is really pretty much doing the same thing, just with chicken. And of course, since chicken has a different consistency, though, it does not take nearly as long to cook as Boeuf Bourguignon does. See farther. You said it. Some French bread in the sauce. That's all I need. Don't blame you. Do you ever use an immersion blender to thicken soups and stews? I myself have not, although I probably will be now that I have an immersion blender. Jamie, on the other hand, loves that thing, and she uses that thing especially for making whipped cream, homemade whipped cream. Peg Tooth, Happy New Year's and precious health to everyone, and likewise to you too, Peg Tooth. What is Jamie baking? She wants to make some cookies using phyllo dough, in fact. You too, Peg. You said it. Some French bread. No, we said that part already. And some French bread and the sauce. Yeah, that sauce is really what I am so looking forward to. I'm going to be ending this before the new year. I don't think we're going to be actually here for the countdown. But nonetheless, okay, no problem. All right. Okay, and by the way, what do you need?
Whipping cream.
Okay.
And Nutella and powdered sugar here.
Okay,
got the mixer. So actually, this right here.
There's the mixer.
Yep. Okay. Oh, that's.
Yes, it is.
Blinded.
Oh, excuse me. I'll get the powdered sugar.
All right. I'm gonna go wash my hands.
Here's powdered sugar. Oh, and this time it really is the powdered sugar.
Yeah, right. Oh, sweet.
This one is still cold. I can put that there. And the Nutella is over here. All right, and then back to the comments.
Piping bag.
Piping bag.
And the cream cheese.
Oh, and cream cheese. Okay, I'm not done yet.
We do 2 layers, remember?
Oh, we have the cream cheese right here.
Already, yeah.
It's been sitting out. Okay.
Yeah.
Piping bag. Well, what? Yes, I've got it, but that's one thing I'm still not too familiar with, and we'll need your help with that. Okay. Now. Yes, exactly. Okay. I'll go.
I'll get it all set up. Where's the piping bag?
I put the piping bag right there. I'll go with red so that X won't much. I couldn't read that, I'm afraid. Okay. Anyway, what color hoodie will Jamie be wearing tonight? Dibs on black. Well, as a matter of fact, she's.
Oh, no, hold on.
Oh, she's about to change. What? Oh, she's not going to tell me. Well, now that you said that, she's.
That was dirty. I've already got to change.
Yes.
I've already got to change.
Okay. Well, you'll see it when she comes out. So, all right. Other than that,
I got for Christmas.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. That's true. You did get it for Christmas, and it was a nice present. At least I think so.
Yeah, I bought myself a Christmas present.
There we go. Okay, but yeah, as I said, we've got mentioned using an immersion blender, and I mentioned you using the immersion blender. You've had a lot of fun using that. So,
I need both of them.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to use the immersion blender in the mixer.
I have the immersion blender over here,
Okay.
although we need a place to plug it in.
Adios, míos.
Well, yeah, that's because we're
Alright.
boiling this stuff.
Um,
All right, we'll plug in the immersion blender when it's ready,
yeah.
or when
I'll
it's
just move it
needed, I
over.
should say.
Yeah, because I think there's two spots. Let's move the feel out. So I'm not going to do this right here.
Okay, Andrew Bonificio. I like smoked paprika. Oh yeah, smoked paprika has become an addiction for me. I'm not. Yeah, not again. You're saying.
Not a huge fan. Not a huge fan.
Yeah, and I blame Alton Brown for that. Alton Brown introduced me to a few things I've gotten addicted to. Smoked paprika is one of them. Another would probably be grains of paradise. So, bonne heureuse. I can't pronounce that right, I don't think. Bonne heureuse année and bonne santé to everyone in 2022, and to you too, Peg Tooth. So far, so welcome. I used to use it lightly on fried eggs. Oh no, I said that part. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, they're taking dibs on your hoodie here. One says
Really?
gray, another says dark green, another says black, and another says I'll go with red.
What?
So yeah.
That person obviously has never seen me.
Meanwhile,
I'm just explaining. I have PTSD, so fireworks kind of
well, yeah, there is that.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
okay.
in about another 10 minutes or so, it'll be time to uncover the pot here, and then we just need to let the sauce thicken, and that's it. On your collection show, you mentioned you had a Bayou Classic. If I get one, will I have to sand it? As a matter of fact, no. I do not. I have not sanded my Bayou Classic Dutch oven, and it works just fine. For a few years, I had a 4-quart Bayou Classic Dutch oven, and it worked just fine. Yes, both of them have very rough surfaces, and in fact, their rough surfaces are even more so than Lodge. It definitely does have a sandpaper-like surface. It still works just fine, and I have no problem at all with it. So I myself would say no, you do not have to sand it. If you want to sand it, you can do so because it's your cast iron. But as far as cooking with it, as far as keeping it non-stick and the like, no, you do not have to sand it. And I realize there are folks that would disagree with me on that, and they are more than
I'm gonna
happy.
get the stuff ready mixed up,
Yeah.
the measurements and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you need the measuring cups?
No, I don't measure stuff like that.
All right.
You know that. Come on now. I don't
All right.
measure stuff that way.
Meanwhile, I've got to stir these things again here. They're probably already done at this point. The egg noodles, that is. By the way, right now the camera is not pointing at you, just so you know. Yes, I know. So yeah, it's nothing personal. I mean, Jamie, again, because of all the fireworks and stuff going off tonight, it's involuntary. She does have something of a little reaction to that.
Yeah, I have PTSD.
Yeah.
Ah!
And that's not your fault. So.
And yeah, I have some ticks, and I'm trying to just make sure I don't tick on camera. So
Right.
I need a second of a breather, so I'm gonna start making weird noises.
Yeah.
Start clicking like a dolphin.
Yeah. For folks who don't know, my friend Jamie here, we're talking about Tourette's syndrome.
Yep.
Real Tourette's syndrome, and that's what we mean by ticks. No, we do not mean the ticks that get on the skin and hair. But yeah, no, she has.
Yeah, there was somewhat ticks on the skin. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because that won't spin me out of control.
Yeah. Oh no. Meanwhile, Daniel Ozark, Bayou Classic is pretty good. I have several large Dutch ovens. Yeah. Bayou Classic. Given a choice, as far as quality control and everything is going, I would probably prefer Lodge. However, Bayou Classic is just fine because it's usually less expensive than Lodge, and Bayou Classic makes a lot of things that Lodge simply does not. They make these huge cast iron pots, for instance, that Lodge simply has never made. So if you want yourself a really big cast iron Dutch oven, it may be necessary to go with something like the Bayou Classic, which, yes, will have a rough surface, no question about that. Okay, all right. Oh, damn it.
Oh shit, my bad.
No.
Sugar and aniseed, I mean.
No, my bad. I just didn't touch that. Okay, where do you want this? You want this
in the mixer.
In the mixer?
Yes.
Coming
yes, sir.
up. Coming up.
Yes, sir. All right. I'm just waiting on.
And plop. That was easy.
I might have to take the work control for 1 second when I'm. Okay. So that's the bottom layer. So I'm gonna start over here.
All right. At this point, I think I could turn this off. I could probably even drain these things.
Okay. Well,
let me get this out of the way, and then you'll be free to do whatever you need to. The back burner is hot, though. Don't put anything on that back burner.
Okay. Actually,
all right, and while you're doing that, I just have to drain these noodles. Woo! There we go.
Hi, folks.
Here. Hello. Hello.
Oh boy. All right. Well, you tell
No
us.
reason why I can put this up here for now.
Of all times for the fireworks to go off, huh? It's not even midnight.
Well.
How lame.
Well, that can't be helped. So
I would not waste.
Do the Bio Classic skillets have the same rough surface? Yes, they do. I will be honest about that.
Watch out, pretty princess.
As I said, as far as quality is concerned, I would probably say Lodge is better in that respect. Lodge does a lot better job at smoothing out the surface of their pans, and yes, they do smooth them out. The Bio Classic surface is definitely rougher, and it has more of that sandpaper type of feel to it. There's no denying that. But as I said, they will still cook just fine. So, and Bio Classic, if you need a very large Dutch oven that Lodge doesn't make, exactly. So, what's a good movie to watch tonight? I would suggest watching The Time Machine. Oh, yeah, that's not a bad one. However, here's a classic from 1960 that probably has become something of a forgotten classic, unfortunately. And if you remember a movie called The Apartment, directed by Billy Wilder, it starred Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine, back when Shirley MacLaine was young and very beautiful. That movie is really one of the greatest romantic comedies I have ever seen. And quite frankly, by the way, the door's open.
I know, I'm holding the
Okay. I mean, literally, you know how all of these movie trailers talk about, oh, this is a comedy that will bring a tear to your eye and a smile to your lips. Well, guess what? It's true with The Apartments. With that particular movie, somehow it manages to do it right. And really, it takes place, in fact, largely during the week between Christmas and New Year's. So that's why I would call The Apartment a great movie to watch now.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wait.
Okay. Okay, no problem.
All right. So you want to bring that over here and put it where it's supposed to?
All right. So you ready?
Okay. I might need oil if I want.
All right. Let's move this over a little bit.
Of this.
There we go. And
not much.
All we're seeing at this point is your hands, by the way.
Okay. Well, it doesn't need to be seen. My hands needs to be seen in the mixer. So.
Okay.
That doesn't fit on that. Here. Do you want to put the camera to look in the mixer?
Oh, you want to put it in the mixer?
Well, yeah, that's where you got to see what's going on.
Okay.
Like, and not.
Yeah, I think we've got a good view of it here.
All right. Do you see what's in there? No, you want to see what's? Come on.
Okay, give me a second. All right, we'll do that, and then in a couple of minutes we'll be able.
All right, so just hold it so you can see inside the mixer.
Okay.
Hey, cool. Thank you. All right, so what we have in here is just it's some cream cheese, some Nutella, and some confectioner's sugar. Now this is an experiment, everybody. So you're along for the ride. Just gonna mix that up.
Mix that up. Oh, Nutella and cream cheese, you said.
Yep. All right. There we go. That's fully mixed.
That was easy.
Yeah. So look at. Oh wait. Oh wait.
Yeah,
it's like looking in a mirror.
Yeah, that's
Ah, shoot.
yeah, right there, right there.
There
right
we go.
pretty good.
Yeah, so looks good. Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's nice.
that's perfect. Okay, then over here, spin it on over this way. I'm gonna put some whipped cream. Shoot, over there. Hold on. Cream.
And while we do that, I've got one other thing to do anyway. Okay.
Okay. I need the confectioner sugar
Okay.
too. Wherever that
Confectioner sugar?
It's right here.
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh my goodness, this is all.
Could you pass me those? Thank you.
All right, so you're doing what? Okay, so you got something going on there.
Well, yes. In a moment, I'm about to uncover the pot. Get this out of the way.
There we go.
All right. Let me do that right now. Let's get going, shall we? Because we are about ready to reveal. Ooh, we're off to a good start here. Man, oh man. Just one moment.
It's too sweet, so. Like I did last time, so it was way too sweet last time.
Oh yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah.
While we're doing that, meanwhile.
That'll be fine. Because the Nutella is going to sweeten it up.
Oh, this is doing pretty good already. At this point, all we really have to do is spend a few minutes reducing the sauce. I mean, this sauce is pretty thick right now, but just a little bit more, and it will be done.
All right.
So we're off to a good start here.
All right, you do that here.
Okay.
Did you ever reduce that, right?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Yeah, this is still not thick enough, though. Let me see. Meanwhile, yeah, sorry if we seem to be moving around here. I mean, it's like we're doing two things at the same time, and that's kind of a no-no. However, as you can see, and in fact, we've got a minute or so. Let's get a close-up of this, shall we? So far, this is looking pretty good. All we got to do now, as I said, is just let it sit and simmer and reduce some more. Technically, we could probably eat this right now, in fact. It's only that what we really want is a nice thick sauce. Oh, in fact, one thing I should do. Where did those tongues go? Here they are. Remove the bay leaves. You know, those cursed bay leaves. And then once I do that, I will be able to see a couple more comments. So thank you for your patience again, everybody. Oh yeah, how could I forget? There's one more thing I do have to do. And that is mix in some mushrooms. There we go. Okay. So when the sauce is thickened, those mushrooms should also reduce. And then at that point, this should be finished. And while we're doing that, hope I didn't use too many mushrooms. Nah, there's no such thing as too much mushrooms. Okay. Meanwhile, Jamie is putting a couple of other things together.
Oh, I'm just cleaning up this. All right.
All right. Meanwhile, Peg Toot says, my sun butter yellowed enamel Dutch oven has 3.5 quart capacity. I use it mainly for deep frying, and there's a good reason. What can I do?
The other bag that I had, the piping bag I flipped inside out. It's all right.
Okay.
Another one today.
Okay. I love dried wild mushrooms.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, here's finished. When I do this, the cream now, I was just going to fill the piping bag because I thought you were busy doing that.
Okay.
They're not going to watch it reduce, you know? Just watch it.
Okay.
Action, you know?
Yeah, okay.
All right. You want to Fill this piping bag.
All right.
Will I make the whipped cream?
Where's?
I have it right here.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so you want the camera over there?
No, because I can make whipped cream behind you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, I just got the piping bag real quick. I got it.
All right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot.
Nemo. Terry Sinchef. In the movie The Apartment, Shirley MacLaine made paprika chicken. Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Funny the things I remember, maybe because it has to do with food. And I completely forgot about that. All I remembered was the tennis racket. That and him getting punched in the mouth. Yes, marjoram would be good, or even a little dill. Or chopped Italian parsley. All right, what to see? And while we're at it here, let's see, what about dump it in slowly? Make a cornstarch slurry and dump it in slowly. You'll get thickened. Well, fortunately, this is going to reduce very nicely because it's mostly wine. There is a little bit of chicken broth in this as well, but as you can see, this thing is already starting to thicken up even now. So we are moving at a pretty good pace here, and in fact, we are almost done at this point. So while this is thickening, I better step out of the way.
Any Adam Sandler fans out there?
Any Adam Sandler fans?
Yep.
Well, we can find
At a
out.
medium pace?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there goes. Yep. Not.
No, that's fine. That's
I
fine.
know it's going to be too tight. It's not going to stay down.
Oh. That's because this is a little tight here. There it is. There we go.
Oh, okay. Here. Confectioner sugar.
Get that
Let's
out.
not put the chicken over there.
Okay.
All right. So in here I have some cream and some confectioner sugar. I don't know the measurements. Sorry. There's some cream and some confectioner sugar. And I just put it in a blender and I'm just going to beat it. Let's see if I can get my hands to stay closed on it. If anybody, it's good. You haven't made your own whipped cream. Oh my god, I recommend it. It's just so much better than the Cool Whip or the canned stuff. This has a better flavor to it, and it's nice and it tastes clean, and you can season not season it, but you can put as much sugar in you want. Like if you like really sweet tooth, like I do. Or you can actually add other things to it. Like I'm about to add Nutella to it. So right now, it's like getting there, and I don't want to do it too much, because for anybody out there who knows, if you whip cream too much, you get butter. So I do like to whip it a little bit extra longer, so it's not so fluffy and it's a little bit thicker for this type of dish. So it ends up more like a pastry cream rather than a whipped cream. So, all right, Nutella. Yeah, I like Nutella. I love Nutella. Actually, I have something funny to show you guys in a second. I probably find it humorous. Nope. All right. And here we go. And you'll see the whipped cream. This is instantly almost turns into like a full-on fledged whipped cream once you add the Nutella. So it ends up kind of being whipped cream with like more of a mousse. It's coming along nicely. All right, 30 seconds. We're good. Yeah. There we go. There we go.
That didn't take long at all.
No, not at all. Especially when you add, like I said, when you add the Nutella, for some reason, I don't know why it whips way faster, but it really does. So.
Gotta be the consistency of it.
Oh my goodness, it's so good. And actually, I do like to do it a little bit thicker than this, but for the sake of speeding this up. Oh my god, it's so good.
That's okay.
Try it.
No, I'm
You
good.
have to. Try it with cream.
I know, right? Gotta watch myself.
Yeah. Hey, puts the whipped cream on his finger and licks it, or it gets I don't know, being on YouTube again. I don't know.
I didn't want to cut myself on the blade. But...
Oh yeah, I'm a daredevil.
Yeah.
All right, and from here I'm gonna put this into a pastry bag. I'm pretty sure Eric has some stuff to show you right now.
As a matter of fact, what we can show you now is, thank you. In only a few minutes, folks, and thank you for waiting as Jamie prepared the whipped cream there.
They're not waiting. They're just still being entertained.
Oh yes, no, that's why we did it. However, check this out, folks. In only a few minutes, this stuff here has really thickened very nicely. You know what? I'd have to say we are probably just about done at this point, because we have our sauce and we have our chicken. As I said at the beginning, this does not look very appetizing if you don't know what it is, do you? I mean, you would really have to be told that this is chicken. Yeah. However, as I said, the taste of this, I can guarantee you it's going to knock your socks off. I've got no worries at all about that. So.
It's a little good.
You
guys get none.
Mr. Gregory, if you go to a fancy, expensive restaurant, all the fat is in there. You are paying to taste the best flavor. And see farther. I was at a restaurant in California, and they served with egg noodles and mash, and the sauce was a little too thick, but perfect to dab a forkful of mash in the sauce. Ooh, that sounds pretty good right there. All right. And meanwhile, in the midst of all this, Trouble has decided he wants some attention. I guess that's no surprise. Coq au vin means stewed chicken. Peasants were so clever, weren't they, though? It's amazing how many of these peasant dishes turned out to be so good. That's of course because they were very clever, and they had to recycle everything, as they like to say, especially with pork. Use everything but the squeal. But nonetheless, there we are. Because did you need to move over here?
Well, I don't know. I could put the stuff right over here, where it was before.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Because all I need to do at this point is put it in a dish.
Plate it?
Yes.
All right. You want to plate it, and then I'll do this while you're plating it, and then you get to show the finished product.
Sounds good.
All right. But I need to be over here. Oh no, that doesn't work. So we'll move the camera over here, I guess. Or how are we gonna do this?
Well, give me a moment, because I just need to quickly.
Yeah, you put the camera over here while you're doing that, because this is just their time. There we go.
Oh, wait. Turn it around this way, please. Thank you.
Yep.
Hold it.
Yep. That's what I was about to do. All right, folks. So look, wait. It's gray.
Yeah.
Yep. Hi.
It's gray?
It was a glimmer. I showed my face for 0.02 seconds. All right, folks. So here we go with some cookie cups. All right. So what I did is, remember that the shortbread cookies that we made like a while back, and the cookie pins, the what are they called? The something whatever.
Turk's head pan?
No, the cookie never mind. The Santa sleigh and stuff like that. The animal cookies.
Yeah, the cookie molds.
Yeah, the John Wright cookie molds. So I saved some shortbread cookie mix, and I had this idea when we did the truck set, is that I wanted to make cookie cups so I could fill them with something, and I came up with this. So what this is well, you guys already saw. I'm gonna tell you, so it's the cream cheese and the little bit of confectioner sugar and Nutella. So what I'm gonna do is just pipe this in the center right here. So what it is what I did is I kind of formed it into like a round cookie log, and I just sliced pieces of it, and I just pushed it into the cookie dough. So you can actually do this with, like, if you don't feel like making homemade cookie dough, you could do it with like sugar cookie dough that you buy at the store, and just push it into a cookie thing. So, and then so I put that in, and actually in the center of these is a hot cocoa Hershey Kiss. You see, nice and lovely. There we go. And then we're going to top it off with the Nutella whipped cream.
Where did this
There we go.
Another...
There we go, folks. And then we have some nice little cookie cups. Bam, look at that. How cute. Need a little round inside. What do you think? You can't have too much, right? There we go. There we go.
Terry Sin Chef. Jamie, you have a gray hoodie. I win. Squab tastes so much better than pigeon. Yeah, definitely. I will not deny that.
There we go. So there we go. Happy New Year's, guys. Look at that. They kind of like roses. Look at that. Look how pretty.
Almost, yeah.
Look how pretty. Oh my goodness.
Nutella cookie roses.
Yep.
With a chocolate center.
There we go. Look at that. So, folks, there we go. Simple. Simple and easy. As you see, it took me how long? Barely any time.
Maybe 5 minutes at most.
Maybe. And that's what doing both of them.
Don't squeeze that too much.
I know. I'm gonna right here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right in my mouth.
Let me move the camera back for the last time, actually, because we are just about done at this point.
All right.
I mean, that is going to be a fantastic dessert. We should have those right at midnight.
Yeah. That's what I want to be. We have a little bit more dollop on top. It's got to go somewhere.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Meanwhile,
that was so good.
well, if you want something that's got complete...
Actually, quickly.
Yes?
Guys, this is so funny. I love Nutella this much. Do you know anybody else in their household that has 3 different sizes?
Yeah.
We got large.
Mm-hmm.
We got medium. And we even have small. You see that? All right, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to try to come up with some more baking, maybe some more recipe ideas. I got one that's gonna have orange marmalade and a chocolate smashed orange and a bunch of stuff. Enjoy. Try it out. It's simple. It's easy.
All right. Well, Jamie,
yeah.
Could you come back for 1 second because you need to try something that you have never tried before.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All I need to ask is that. Take a look at this, folks.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
You know, I can't. It's gonna be way too hot. It's gonna take me 3 minutes. I can't.
Oh,
it's gonna cool way down.
Okay. All right, then. Well, we can wait then.
Yeah, because I can't.
Okay.
I have a bad tooth.
I'm sorry.
And anything that's a little too warm or too cold. Yeah. Actually, I'll just sit here and blow it.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Pardon me. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Those cookie cups were good. They look so cute, don't they?
Yeah, they do actually. Yeah, I don't blame you at all.
Yeah.
However.
That is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Those are perfect.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, really good.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God, so good.
But there we go. So not only do we have the cookie cups for dessert, I can only appreciate everybody because this is the finished product here. We also have coq au vin, which I'm pronouncing right this time, I think. So, all right, thank you. Anyway, what do we have here for comments as well? Light some candles, make a wish. Maybe the roosters were past their mating prime. Yeah, that's one reason why. So bravo 2021, Happy New Year all. But yeah, nonetheless, there we are. We made it from scratch using Julia Child's recipe. Served over egg noodles, we have our coq au vin. As I said, it does not look appetizing. I will be the first person to say that. But again, this more than makes up for it with flavor. We've got this wonderful wine and stew sauce with the mushrooms and of course the chicken with a little bit of bacon mixed into it. So I mean, even if it's not a traditional New Year's dish, any time at all is a good excuse to make this. Exactly. So
Who says?
Yeah.
You're not my real mom.
Shine from your sauce. Well, thank you very much. Okay. And all right, there we go. Now, no one eats the rooster or you wouldn't get pregnant chickens. Yeah, that was the other thing I made a mistake on when I made that video. Remember I told you how people were criticizing me for making mistakes in that video. The other thing was I commented at one point in the video that they finally slaughtered the rooster when it was too old to produce eggs. And yeah, people kept commenting, it's the hen that lays the eggs. And yes, you're completely right about that. I was implying really that it's the rooster's job to fertilize the eggs. So, but nonetheless, yeah, I'm still getting comments like that even now. However, this dish was really made mostly for you to use with the rooster, but of course, there's no reason why you can't use it with chicken, which of course is exactly what I did tonight. I found the chicken on sale, in fact, for 99 cents a pound for a package of chicken thighs. So you combine that with some cheap Pinot Noir wine, some mushrooms, and the spices. And what do you have? You have maybe one of the tastiest chicken dishes I think I've ever tried. I don't just mean now, I mean this particular recipe, coq au vin, and I can really only thank Julie Child for that. However, I should also thank everybody here, because here we are. We've got the 10-minute countdown coming up.
Sorry.
Yeah,
That was my
and
fault.
that's okay. And I'm actually not going to stay live here for the countdown because I would rather everybody just celebrate their New Year
10 minutes is
in
a
your
long
own way.
time.
And yeah, 10 minutes is a long time. Yes.
Oh, sorry, I dropped the
So
F-bomb.
yeah, that's all right.
Not like we're
So-
all used to Jamie swearing or anything.
Yeah. So we
I
are
never
going.
swear.
Yeah. So we're going to relax now. We've got plenty of chicken to eat, and we've got the cookies to eat as well. So we are really gonna be chowing down tonight. And this was a lot of fun too. There's no denying that. I enjoyed myself quite a bit. And, my New Year's, almost every New Year's Eve for me turns out to be a washout in some way or another. This has definitely been one of the better ones. There are a couple of them I can tell stories about, but I should not because they involve some rather personal drama. But
keep that out of it.
yeah, but nonetheless, as I said, this has been a very nice evening, and really, as I said enough times, a lot of it is because you folks here show up. It really makes it a lot of fun to do this for you, and thank you so much. So, Sam Cook, I got to pick up something from the store. So, yeah, I definitely say, please try this recipe. You will not regret it.
These recipes.
These recipes, yes, thank you so much, thank you. But nonetheless, the important thing, as I said, is that, oh man, is this good. It's not expensive, and it is fun to make, and that, of course, is the best reason at all to cook in cast iron.
Me and Eric have this affinity for candied ginger, so I'm actually on top of those rosettes. I'm actually putting a little bit of candied ginger to give it a little bit of,
Ooh, nice.
a little bit of a little kick.
Yeah.
A little kick for New Year's.
Hope 2022 is great. Boy, do I hope that as well. I really hope we bring this stupid pandemic under control. But all we can do is wait and see what happens.
This year beat me
up.
Hard.
Oh, I think everybody can say that.
Listen, but you know what? I ended it. Look how we ended it. We're getting this new apartment.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna live at a postage stamp anymore.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Huh. The cats are gonna love it.
Yeah. Each bedroom has 2 closets.
Mm-hmm.
Not 2 closets in an entire apartment.
Mm. Yeah.
All right, gotta go.
Okay. Yeah. Fireworks are going off outside now.
Bye, guys.
Open the door. The cats are coming in with you.
Yeah, they're already in.
They've got some fireworks shooting off outside, and they've just scared the cats.
3 of the 4 people live here from fireworks.
All right. Well, Jamie and I are gonna go comfort the cats and see you in the new year. And I can only thank everybody. Yeah, I bet this is even better tomorrow. You better believe it. Although I've got to get it out of this pan because the wine can affect the seasoning. So yeah, before I go to bed, I will be getting all of this out of the pan and putting it in the fridge. However, having said that, as William Hurt says, good night, everybody. Hello, 2022. We are looking forward to having a good time together.
Well, according to the clock in here, it's midnight.
Well, yeah, that clock is intentionally set fast. So we have 7 minutes to go. And having said that, and congratulations as well, Terry Sinchef. Well, no, I shouldn't say congratulations. Like you said, your ex. I have an ex too, so I know how that was. Yeah, in fact, we had a special kiss at midnight of the year 2000, or rather 1999 to 2000. So, but that's all right. Watch the Time Machine movie. Yes, you will enjoy that too. That was a lot of fun. Thank you. Yeah, okay, let's just get going and let's everybody relax and have fun.
Farewell.
Auf Wiedersehen. And have a good time, everybody. Happy New Year and have a good evening. See you all next Wednesday. Good night. And we're done.